Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
Take the next step toward the career you want, be it business, cybersecurity, healthcare, or more. UMGC can help you get there. No application fee when you apply by August 31st. Visit umgc.edu, certified to operate by Chev.
What's up? It's your boy, The Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Ronnie Castle joins us once again. We'll sit and spin coming up along with Mike Squires of Loaded and Couch Riffs fame and the podcast there. We've got 10 Couch Riff quarantine covers. Coming up, we'll sit and spin, and there's some good tunes in there. I'll let this be a bit of a cautionary tale. In the early weeks of the pandemic, one thing became clear to Louis Goffinet. He needed to help. As a teacher, he was able to be pretty close to how COVID was impacting his family, his kids, his students, and everything else. He teaches in a Connecticut middle school. With no charity or fundraising background, Goffinet started an online fundraiser to help his Mansfield neighbors buy groceries.
Very kind.
Now, by the end of the campaign, he'd raised about $40,000 online. Said he used the money to fund 140 family grocery trips, 125 family dinners, 80 Thanksgiving pies, 31 Thanksgiving dinners, rental assistance for 5 families, and to help 20 people buy holiday gifts for their children. As soon as we got the money, we found people who needed it right away, and we knew we could help. He said his work felt amazing, but now 1 year later, he's feeling the exact opposite. You see, in February, Goffinet received a 1099-K form from the Internal Revenue Service in the mail. Form let him know that $41,000 of money he raised online was considered taxable income. Mm-hmm. And according to an accountant, that translates to a tax bill for Goffinet of about $16,000. He said it was a little bit gut-wrenching. Yep. A woman who is a certified public accountant and owns an accounting firm said she explained that third-party transaction sites, like the one the Goffinet used for the fundraiser, are required to issue 1099 forms for all transactions that exceed $20,000. All right. Now, even though Goffinet said he gifted all the money that he raised, and he has the documents to back that up since he is not a nonprofit, it is considered taxable income. Obviously, they are trying to fight it, but either way, if they cannot agree with the IRS or the IRS says no way, he will be on the hook and have to pay the $16,000 bill.
I think he's going to be on the hook, man. Like, we're not coming after you. This is just the system we have in place. You didn't do your research. It sucks for him because even though he has the receipts to prove that he bought it for charitable reasons, they go, right, but if you made an extra $40,000 because your job loved you and you chose to buy the stuff from your own paycheck, it's the same difference.
It is. Our question, what's the story about your teacher? 206-421-ROCK.
See, that's why I don't do nice things for people. Hello, Jade. That's why, right there.
It's not worth it.
It's just not worth it. Hello, JD. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola.
Hola.
So I got a good one. This is back when I was a sophomore in high school, so 2011, I'm a young guy. And we had this substitute teacher because our regular math teacher went on maternity leave.
Okay.
So me and a group of my football buddies, we were all in the same class. It was geometry, and just messing around, footing around, just didn't care about class because it wasn't our teacher. It was just a stop it, buddy. And so we were bringing little video games to play in class, and we weren't paying attention. And one day the substitute, Mr. Berthoff, kind of got a little fed up, and he was like, what are you guys doing? Like, can you guys focus on your work? Blah, blah, blah. And we're like, oh, we're watching a movie. And he was like, well, what are you guys watching? And we told him it was Hot Rod. Do you guys recall that movie with
a comedy?
Adam Sandberg?
Yeah, Adam Sandberg.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, real funny movie. I mean, not school appropriate at all. And he was like, well, what's the movie about? And we're like, so I started talking, and, I gave him the quick rundown. I was like, it's an inspirational movie about a stepson trying to save his stepfather from a heart condition. So he does a whole bunch of stunts to raise up money to save his his stepfather. And he was like, oh, that sounds like a real nice movie, because he had never seen it before. And so he was like, I'll tell you what, you guys get all your work done for the week, and if you have time on Friday, we can watch the movie as a class. Still have no idea what the movie is. So I'm like, heck yeah. Me and my group of buddies, we all knock out our work super fast. And conveniently, I own the movie on DVD. So I brought the movie in. And we come in, we sit down, and, it's Friday, and we start watching. And we even convinced him to let us stay for an extra period, because it's an hour and a half long movie. So we can watch the whole movie and then go back to class. And so he was like, all right. He convinced the principal to let us have that extra period. So we spent 2 periods in our math class watching this movie. And after the movie all ended, he was like, man, that was a terrible idea. It should not have happened. But, I mean, this is also a substitute teacher who comes to school in sweats and stuff.
You got your work done.
He didn't care.
But see, that's the thing. You did get your work done.
It worked.
Where if you're going to learn anything for adulthood, it probably comes down to that. Just get the crap done you're responsible for, and you get leeway to do other things.
Yeah,
right?
then you can enjoy your time.
That is it. That is the best lesson. Just get your stuff done. We had a substitute teacher. It was in 8th grade, and Delirious from Eddie Murphy had just come out. And while it's hysterical, it's very filthy. And like he said with Hot Rod, it's just not school appropriate. But substitute teacher came in. We had him for 2 days. So day 1, he was pretty cool. It was shop class, man. So, everyone's just kind of involved in their own thing. But real cool guy. The next day we come in, he closes the door, and he gives us this serious look. And we're like, oh, no, right? Because what do we do? It seemed like we got along. He's like, hey, listen, if there's no objections, I'm putting on Delirious from Eddie Murphy. This S is hilarious. That's how he explained it to us. He put on this cassette. We put on Delirious, man, and we listened to that comedy routine for 50 minutes. We were dying. I mean, it is filthy, the farthest thing from school appropriate, but we're like, we like this guy.
And Buddy's got a mustache. What's the story about your teacher? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Marcy. Welcome to the men's room.
Hey, guys.
Hola.
So, I graduated high school back in 83. I went to Lake Havasu High School in Arizona. So, back then, it was a really small town, like one stoplight in the whole town. It was awful. Well, a new teacher came to town. He was 22, and I was like a sophomore, I think. And we had these classrooms that were from the auditorium, so everything kind of tiered down. So the teacher would stand down at the bottom of the auditorium area, and all the girls had quickly learned that he was kind of a slime ball. Well, if you wanted a good grade in his class, one of my girlfriends would wear skirts with no panties and sit with her feet up on the railing to be insured an A.
So she traced part of the AV club.
Did that work?
Yeah. Oh, it worked for her like a dream. So a couple of other girls were talking about going to this party over the weekend. And he's like, what? You guys are going to a party? That sounds fun. Well, they gave him the address, and he showed up. And the guys got him wasted. He passed out on the couch. They shaved his eyebrows, and he had to go back to school with shaved eyebrows because he got so hammered that they just totally, they drew all over his face. He had penises on his face. He was a mess.
I don't feel bad for this guy.
I don't either.
Good God, man.
You showed up at a high school party for crying out
So
loud.
so who was the friend of yours that figured out, like, hey, I think if I just flash in my vagina, I can score an A?
Well, a lot of the girls kind of talked about it because he got kind of flirty, and then he had made, like, kind of an innuendo about the fact that A's are really easy to get in his class if you know how to get them.
Oh, God.
So the girls started kind of talking, going, So she came in one day, and she was pretty flat-chested, but she came in with a really low-cut shirt. And, you know, she could kind of see the interest. Well, then she thought, well, if the low-cut shirt's going to get him, this is sure to do it. Oh, yeah, it was an easy A. But what was funny is it was a current events class. All you had to do was read the newspaper and write a half a paragraph over what you read, and you got an A. So you didn't even have to go through all that.
How long was that guy a teacher there?
Well, sophomore, junior, senior, and then I think 1 year after that, I think he stayed one extra year, so like 4 or 5 years.
Now, do you think he got
fired?
You think he got caught, or he just went somewhere else, or do you know?
I think he got caught. I didn't stay in touch with a lot of people from back then, but I think he finally got caught. I mean, I know there was rumor of, like, one girl used to go to his house and, like, have make-out sesh with them. And there was rumor that, you know, they kind of hooked up. And so there was all kinds of rumor, but I don't think the school board could ever really prove anything.
I feel like rumors are bad enough in that particular industry.
Jesus.
You know? Good God, man.
What is the story about your teacher? 206-421-ROCK.
I have definitely heard of teachers showing up to high school parties.
I've heard of that, for sure, but 9 times out of 10, that particular teacher is also described as being pretty cool otherwise.
Or they're kind
Not
of
like
chaperoning
creepy.
the event more.
They're not chaperoning.
They're not chaperoning, dude. They're there to get drunk.
They're telling
Right.
you they're chaperoning.
Because there was one famous teacher, coach, whatever, in my area. Mm-hmm. But where he screwed up was he showed up, basically, like, you get to a certain age where the cool parties, like, most people are seniors.
Sure.
But some people are already graduating. So he had made not a habit, but he had gone to a few of these parties. Where he screwed up, though, was that his team had gotten good and beat us in something the year before. And he showed up to the party, so I don't know who, but obviously word got out.
I don't know who. What is the story about your teacher? 206-421-ROCK.
Telling all you all it's sabotage.
Right, exactly. It's like, you came to our party? This is, like, it's already a little weird you're going to these parties. So why would you come to ours?
To rub it in. Hello, Jake. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bichola.
Hola.
So, we had a teacher in high school who, years before us, everyone would steal a stapler. So he'd get real mad if you touch his stapler, and he'd get real mad if you wouldn't put anything in his microwave.
That's a strange combination.
It was real weird. But one day, one guy in my class decided he was going to take his stapler and he put it in his microwave, and then he whipped out his D and took a picture of it in his microwave. And then he sat on his phone the rest of class so that he would see him on his phone and want to take it. So then when he went to take it, he just saw the picture of the guy's penis on in his microwave.
What is the teacher's response to this?
He was not happy. He cried a lot. He was pretty emotional.
He was he cried? The teacher?
Yeah, he would. Anytime anybody would mess with him, he'd cry. It was real sad.
Oh man! Oh no!
When you're in this class, I'm going to guess things are real awkward, right? Like, should I laugh? Do I feel bad for this guy? What?
You don't really feel bad for the guy because he would always, like the more busty women, he'd kind of like flirt with a little bit and kind of like try to look at them more. But so you didn't really feel bad for the guy, but yeah.
Yeah, at the time when you're in school, you realize what's going on, but you don't know any different. Like, because my stepfather just asked me about a certain teacher that I had. Because he had been talking to my sister, who also went to the same high school, and my brother.
But you're not piecing it together.
And they're saying, well, they've had the conversation with him about this one particular teacher, how he creeped on girls.
Yeah.
And I thought about it, and I was like, oh, yeah. Now that I look back, I was like, because he asked me, he's like, was that going on when you were there? And I was like, yeah, it was. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. Like, it never stopped. So,
but you're right. At the time,
I just thought that he would always, because you have teachers' assistants.
Sure.
And typically, those are juniors or seniors in high school, and they get an extra period to do something, so they're grading the teachers' papers or whatever. But this one particular teacher would always handpick the girls that he wanted to be, and it was like he was almost picking the ultimate cheerleading squad. Of the entire school.
It never ends. Like the guys that operate that way, they always operate that. We have had coworkers, and say there were 4 people at your place of business who have the ability to hire. Depending, they run whatever their department is. So you come into work, there's this new face, and there's some 6-foot dude got his hair slicked back. You're like, okay, so and so hired this guy. right? You walk in, there's this busty, drop-dead, gorgeous, scantily clad woman. It's like, I know who hired you. It doesn't mean you're not qualified for your job, but I know who hired you, and I know why he hired you. I don't even know if he gave you an interview or if you just sat across from him at his desk.
Yeah. It's the same as going to, like, I don't know, IHOP or Rick's.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, who's the hiring manager here?
Well, it depends. Yeah, it's Tiger Woods. Remember, he was shacking up with the Perkins manager.
Perkins, they know what's up, though.
Are you sure? Did you see her,
He's
though?
a golfer. He likes gimmies.
Right.
So Perkins?
Well, his MO was basically like 19-year-old chicks.
Right.
So if you're one of the most famous athletes in the world, like, I think a 19-year-old chick's a gimme for him.
They call
I would have gone to, like, Starbucks before Perkins.
They call Perkins the 19th hole.
Yeah.
What's the story about your teacher? 206-421-ROCK.
It's also Florida.
Hello, Jason. Welcome to the men's room.
Hi, hola, guys.
Hola.
So I was about 7th grade, so like 1985, 86. We were having some sporting event that was at our school. You know, the PE classes were having soccer, and during the PE class, those of us that weren't interested were off playing basketball by ourselves, and the coach, our teacher, was, you know, refereeing the soccer game. Well, a friend of mine and I were playing, and a group of kids were playing. We saw one of our friends come out of the group of kids crying. We asked him what happened. He says, so-and-so hit me. And we went with him to the teachers. And he told the teacher, and the teacher looked at us, and he says, you two go beat him up.
Jesus Christ.
Jeez.
And me and my friend weren't fighters, but we went and tried, and we had a little scuffle, and we lost because that was it.
So he beat three people's ass in one day then?
And then the last hour of the day, I get a summons to the principal's, the VP's office. And I get there, and he asks us, these other guys told us that you fought with them, and we told the story of what happened, and he said, you tell this again with the teacher sitting here, and we're like, yeah, this is what happened. And then the next day, and then there was nothing else. And then the last period of the next day, I get called back to the VP's office, and I go, and there's 2 desks with paper on them, and I look down, and there's a referral with my name on it for fighting from the PE teacher.
So you still got in trouble?
No, because I wrote out what happened, and I took it in. By the way, my friend never showed up to that call in. He still owes me for that, and it's been 30 years.
You'll get that back.
He went in, the principal read my statement, tore it up, tore up the referral.
But let me get this
sent me
straight.
back to class, and I never heard anything more of it again. But yeah, teacher told us to go beat this kid up.
And this kid beat both you and your friend up.
Yeah.
How long did it take him to kick your 2 asses when you went over there?
He was a pretty burly kid. And had been a bit of a scrapper. I'd known him since like 1st grade, and he'd always been a bit of a fighter.
Okay, now how bad did you get your ass beat?
After a couple punches, we just pulled out. We weren't stupid enough to keep fighting.
Okay, I like it.
Good times.
That's why people always text in and go, how come everyone who calls and says they got in a fight always won? One, because the fights you like to talk about are the ones you've won, right? But you don't always win. I'm just glad that guy's honest. Like, oh, no, there were 2 of us. He beat the piss out of us.
What is the story about your teacher? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Cody. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
So I went to the same high school as my mother, and in 11th grade, I ended up getting the same English teacher.
Dear
he was
God.
a great teacher all through the year. 12th grade, I get the same teacher. Halfway through the year, he disappears. We had nothing but substitute teachers for the rest of the year, and none of the other teachers were telling us anything. We were really confused. Last week of school, front page of the newspaper, we see our teacher's face. A story about how he was using school computers to buy the used panties from porn stars. Shipped to the school.
Okay, now it's one thing for you to hear this. What is your mother's reaction to this?
Oh, she thought it was a real bummer.
Yeah, I bet you did.
He was such a good teacher.
I bet a lot of people did.
It doesn't mean he wasn't a good teacher.
Yeah, I mean,
Mark Albert was a great broadcaster. He just like biting women on the back too hard.
Yeah, at least compared to some of the stories we heard, at least that guy's dealing with adults.
I mean, look, he wasn't doing anything illegal. It's just where he chose to do it.
Yeah,
was
exactly.
really
And
stupid.
you just can't get it shipped.
And he's still a good teacher. Right? Sure, he got used panties shipped to the school on porn sites and used the school computers for, but...
Well, did he get them shipped to he was ordering them off the computer.
I think he said he had them sent to the school as well. So whoever the wife is at home, I'm guessing, does not intercept any of this.
I mean,
that's a married dude who's like, this cannot go to my home.
Typically, when we get stuff shipped to the office, it's because of a present for someone, or you don't want it to go to your home.
Right, otherwise it's send it home.
I mean, or
just somebody can get it.
Yeah, I mean...
I just said, I don't know if ordering... used panties from a porn star is a fireable offense.
Would you hire him? He's in for the interview. There's a teaching job open.
I have to see the porn stars.
Why don't you ask your brother? Ask your brother.
Like, would you hire a guy? Like, look.
Oh, would he get in trouble for doing his work computer? Yeah. I'm sure he would.
Would he hire someone? That's the problem. Keep in mind, everything else about them academically has been outstanding. There's two generations of people that say, dude, he's a great teacher. He was never creepy. Just, he's ordering soiled underwear to the school.
I mean, you are right. There is... Like, my brother does not have a social presence anymore that he's a principal.
Okay. So you couldn't ask.
Like, I feel bad asking him. I have to call on his burner phone.
Hey, what telling us a story about your teacher, 206-421-ROCK.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
Take the next step toward the career you want, be it business, cybersecurity, healthcare, or more. UMGC can help you get there. No application fee when you apply by August 31st. Visit umgc.edu, certified to operate by Chev.
I'm Glennon Doyle, author of Untamed and host of the podcast We Can Do Hard Things. Each week, we talk openly and honestly about the hard things in life together with you. So join us and some of our dearest friends and greatest heroes to talk about anxiety, boundaries, parenting, infidelity, our bodies, loving and losing, all of the things that make us human. Listen to and follow We Can Do Hard Things on Odyssey and everywhere you get your podcasts.
99.9 KISW. The men's room is in progress.
Our question, what is the story about your teacher? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Tony. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bichola.
Hola.
Woo.
Get it out of here.
Oh, I'm super nervous. How you guys doing?
Doing great. Don't be nervous. Just us.
Oh, yeah. I will not swear.
Uh-oh.
That kind of means you're going to swear. Come on.
No, I'm excited. So I'd let you know I'm not going to swear.
Okay.
But okay, so the story, should I not say the school?
You don't have to. It's fine. Just give us the story. We don't need all the deep info.
Right.
I got you. It was morning time, class of 07. I was a senior. Our teacher comes in, and he says we're going to watch the Oregon Trail. It's on a VHS. He goes to walk in to put in the VHS, and he walks away, and all of a sudden it looks like it's public access recorded of a dude going to town on a lady, and everyone starts just cracking up and freaking out, and he runs over, and he's kind of like a penguin-shaped fella, and he just starts screaming and hitting the VHS TV and stuff until it shuts off. Everyone's laughing probably for 3 minutes. And the whole time he's like, I'm embarrassed.
I bet he was.
Cracking up for like 3 to 5 minutes nonstop.
Do you think that was his personal tape that he had misfiled, or do you think that someone had played a prank like in the AV room at the library, knowing that would be shown, you know?
Here's the thing, like we all noticed that like the blinds were shut and everything. It totally was this guy's tape. He definitely seems like a guy that might have I don't know, definitely.
Well, we've all looked at porn. I mean,
just not in school,
right? Exactly. Just don't bring it into class.
For sure, but I don't know. He was we were in I call it the stoner class. It's where the misfits went to, and I think it was history class. But yeah, we were supposed to watch the Oregon Trail, and it was a different kind of Oregon Trail.
Yeah,
bet it was
the Treasure Trail.
Jeez.
All right,
but I think his reaction tells you that he was watching it.
Yeah, I'm embarrassed.
I'm embarrassed. I'm so sorry.
He would be angry if someone pranked him. Right? And the whole class would have been admonished because this is the kind of prank we do. The fact that he's just saying embarrassed, like, that's the kind of porn homie likes.
And he mentioned
It's like worse. It's like, did you really record this off public access?
No.
Right.
Like,
Not even good
you didn't have the
porn.
decency to go to a store and just buy some?
Just not good quality.
How do you mislabel that?
What? Maybe it was the Oregon Trail.
Yeah, I mean, right.
Instead of the Oregon
What
Trail.
did you misread about this? It just seems real important.
You know where it was shot, Miles? Corvallis.
Oh.
With the Beavers.
What's the story about your teacher? 206-421-ROCK.
Oregon Tail. God damn it.
Hello, Adria. Welcome to the men's room.
Liquor and whores.
Liquor and whores.
Okay, so I graduated in 1990. So I was about 14, 8th grade, I believe. And I was in shop class, and our shop teacher had this paddle. And it was engraved with his name backwards. And so if you got into trouble, you had your choice of 100 sentences or getting one swat on the ass. I was constantly in trouble, so I always chose the ass swat. Well, when he swatted your ass, of course, the indentations pulled your skin in, and it said Mr. Cease across your ass. So basically, my whole ass was his all year long.
So he did it well enough that it actually did imprint in your butt.
Oh, yeah, that's what he made it for.
Did you have to take your pants?
No.
Okay.
Thank God.
That's a much different kind of...
There was one dude who's just like, take your wallet out of your pocket, you know what I mean? Take it down to your underwear. I mean, just depending on how...
Sure. Among dudes.
No, it wasn't that bad, but it was still pretty bad.
Okay.
Damn. With his name. I like that idea, though.
Mm-hmm. Your ass is mine. What's the story about your teacher? 206-421-ROCK.
Now, see, that one, I'm just like, that seems a little far.
But look, in the days that you still paddle, okay, why not? Right, because at the time, you could still paddle the kid. So you might as well make it interesting. Be like, look, I tell you what, you're in trouble. All right, Ted, you're in trouble. Now, you got one of 4 paddles to choose from. There's the one with my name, right? That's the standard one. There's the one that Miles made. Looks like Swiss cheese, comes whistling at your ass. Here's also the Maryland Terrapin, and then maybe the Maryland flag. Like, you're going to get your ass hit. What print do you want to see on your butt when you get home?
Well, that's easy. The Maryland flag.
Ted, are you getting in trouble on purpose?
That's easy.
Here's my thing, though. I worry about a grown man that's like, I'm going to teach these 14-year-olds something. My ass is leaving an imprint. Like, you're already hitting them.
Right.
What's the story about your teacher? 206-421-ROCK. We're not saying it was logical back then. It's just what they did.
Hello, Ned. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bichola.
Hola.
Team not sober. All right. So I was in high school for this, and there was just this one girl that had always, she was always flirting with this one teacher, and he was a chill, kind of laid back teacher, so he always brushed it off. He was like, oh, you need to cut that out, or you need to take it easy with that, stuff like that.
Yeah, things that adults would say to a child who's hitting on them, right?
Exactly, yeah. And but every day, she'd eat her lunch in his room. Like, she just made it very clear that she was very, kind of obsessed with him. And as I was only there for about a year and a half. So once I graduated, there were always these rumors like, oh yeah, such and such, or, this teacher and that girl were hooking up, and, they made it official. And I was always just like, yeah, right. That's total BS. And I always said that for years. I always said, there's just no way in hell. And then sure enough, had to have been a year after that, and you find out that they're married and they're having a kid, and that had to have been all within 4 years after high school.
Wow. I'm just trying to gauge my reaction as the parent, Like to my daughter, hey, I'm glad you found someone. Wasn't this dude your teacher? Didn't I see this guy in your high school?
How much older? How old was the guy? Do you know?
He was probably 34, 35.
Okay. All right. That's still weird to me.
And what I found out just recently is that this is his third child with a third woman. So.
Oh, okay.
Is he still a teacher?
Not at that school, I'll tell you that much. That's
okay.
A small private school. And it was a small private school. And that stuff, they were not happy. And he got kicked out of that school real quick.
Yeah, but it did. I can see that. Like, well, now I know why my daughter did so well in that particular class, and she's marrying her teacher.
Listen, I love my kids. I really do.
You really don't have to qualify the statement.
I know.
We just assume you do.
But when you are around 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds, I mean, my daughter is like she can drink at a bar.
Right.
But when you're around her and her friends at that age, there is absolutely nothing attractive about the conversation, about anything. I
The
mean, you're
sound.
it's just like, I mean, there's no relatables. You know what I mean? It's not that we can't have conversations about our own things.
But she's with her friends
Yeah,
now.
and they do their own thing. But never would I look at like one of my daughter's friends and go, oh, yeah. Because it's just like, you're like, ugh.
Those are your daughter's friends.
I know, but still.
When's the last time you went to a college football game and didn't think some of the...
Well, I'll tell you what.
I went to a tailgate 2 years ago and we were like, hey, it's just nice talking to college chicks.
Well, I went to San Diego State to visit my daughter, and there are very attractive students at that school. But, man, the moms... Wow,
You
know what
crossed the threshold,
That's
man.
what I'm saying. Like I'm looking at people who are more.
It happens. I swear to God.
I swear to God, Ted.
Your daughter's hot. What does your mom look like?
Right.
No. I get that.
And there's
but
so
I don't
much of
think,
that.
if you take the fact that your daughter is there, sorry. Like 22-year-old girls are just going to be hot.
Yeah, well, I mean, it depends on.
If we just went there and your daughter didn't go there.
I've been with you in a bar.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard the things you say.
Yeah.
Like,
I was
now
younger-
all
I
of a
was
sudden,
younger
under
then.
like 20 to 25, I'm out.
I'm telling you, my mind has changed on that. And I'm not kidding you. Like, of course, when I was that age or younger, of course.
Sure.
But now I'm telling you, I put myself in those situations, and I'm seriously looking at the moms. I am. I mean,
I would date a girl that's probably like 22 or 23.
I just hit it and quit it.
It's right, but I mean, I can't sit here and be like,
Right, I don't want to watch Netflix.
And by the way, somebody figured out perhaps the one teacher, we had a caller earlier, played the wrong video. It was supposed to be the Oregon Trail. It ended up being a porn. And I'm like, how do you mislabel that? And you had Oregon Trail. They said maybe it was called Oregon Trail.
Oh.
See? See? Right there. You'd overlook that and put in your porn.
What is the story about your teacher? 206-421-ROCK.
We'll save him. Hello. Pete, welcome to the men's room.
Yeah.
I got that all wrong.
who is this?
Hey, how you doing?
Hola.
Hola, bitch, hola.
Hola to you.
So anyway, I'm in ninth grade, and our friends, we used to drop some acid, and we were looking for some weed in first period. And nobody had none, but we could smell it. And lo and behold, it was the teacher smoking it in the back room.
Jesus.
Okay. Did they get caught?
So, no, but, that's just the way it was.
Okay. All right. Well, good. I'm glad they got a
Yep.
smoke break.
Did you get to smoke with them?
Yeah, no, we tried, but they weren't telling. They were saying, no, don't know what you're talking about.
You know, that weed that you're smoking, homie, let me hit some of that.
It wasn't uncommon to walk in the bathroom and smell that.
Yeah, but it was always the students.
Exactly.
And I knew who those guys. Man, what was the earliest you remember someone smoking weed? I remember there was a kid in 4th grade. He had an older brother, so I think he got it from him. But I just remember thinking, like, oh my God. And he was the kid that
it
would
was
do
all
it.
about getting cigarettes and and chewing or dip.
Right.
Yeah.
So the guys who dip. The guys who smoke.
But that, I feel
So
like
that was like that. That
but
was
at that
the
time,
currency.
they would sell it to anyone. A kid could walk, even
Yeah,
to say I'm buying it for my parents, they believed you. I actually was at that time, but I mean, they did believe it.
I mean, I feel like by the time I got to high school, we definitely had to go to certain stores.
All right, to get
You know what I mean? But you're right. Like, I never saw weed till I was in high school. In grade school, like, for whatever reason, people had cigarettes. I mean, I definitely had a dip before I was in high school.
What is the story about your teacher? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Daniel. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
So, essentially, this was back in 6th grade. Our classrooms that all had, like, an outside door, and we were all expected to, like, line up for back from recess outside that door. Now, every single one of those doors essentially had a large gutter, like, and these are, like, really strong gutters, not the flimsy ones that just fall off when you climb on it. And so, essentially, my best friend thought, I'm going to climb up this pole right as we're all lining up. He climbs up the pole and everything, and the gutter is right behind the door. And so our teacher comes out, looks towards all of us in line. He sees us all looking up behind him, and there, pretty much is my friend, all the way up on the gutter, just sitting there. Not sitting there, I guess, whatever you want to call it, attached to it. Turns back to us and pretty much says, well, it looks like you guys all need an extra recess. And somehow we got 15 extra minutes of recess from that.
Because he climbed the pole?
Yeah, he climbed the entire gutter. He pretty much like went up on the gutter right behind the door, essentially.
Are you saying your teacher was so impressed by that he gave you extra recess time?
Either he was so impressed or just needed more time away from us.
Okay, all right. Well, that makes sense.
I think it's both. Yeah. That's a teacher said, I'm done for the day. I don't care. What is the story about your teacher? 206-421-ROCK.
Right,
because any other time
out there climbing gutters.
Right, any other time, hey, you got to get down. Be careful. Teacher's just like, yeah, all right, man.
We ran on top of the roof.
He doesn't care.
Broke into multiple classrooms.
Now they're going to call your parents if you fall. Hello, Lucas. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola. Save us.
What's happening, fellas?
How are you, Lucas?
I'm all right. How you guys doing?
Doing great.
Super. Hey, so my story, I was a sophomore in high school, and, they send out the stuff in the mail to your parents' house to let you know what your classes are for the next semester, and I got mine, and I called all my buddies immediately because this was just hilarious that I had a teacher on there named, he'd be Mr. Whacker. And
okay.
It was funny as a joke, and then we went to class, and I don't know, first week of school, so it's still kind of awkward, and here comes the teacher walking down the aisle, and I had to look over, and, right there on his name tag, first name Richard.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and I absolutely came unglued. I went into an uproar, belly laughing at the guy. He knew what it was. He promptly asked me to please leave the classroom so you can get a hold of yourself.
Okay. Oh. So he's used to it already.
What's that?
He's used to it already.
Yeah, I'm sure he's had that run-in before. I don't think that was his first time.
His name is Dick Whacker.
At least he's not a doctor. Yes. At least he's not a doctor.
Yeah, but here's my question. If your name is Dick Whacker, why would teaching, of all the jobs you can have, that's the last one I'd take? Let me be around high school boys with this name.
Yeah,
certainly they won't make fun of me.
I totally agree. I mean, like I said, man, my mind could not handle that, and I just laughed, so I about fell out of my desk.
Was he a good teacher?
He was a very good teacher. He was a history teacher, and it was my favorite class I had that whole time at that high school.
Nice. Give it up for Mr. Whacker.
Cool. If your name's Mr. Whacker, you better be a cool teacher. Because kids are going to be relentless, man.
I've said it before. The hardest teacher we had at my high school was Buck Offit.
Yeah.
Ryan Castle on the way. Once again, we'll sit and spin along with special guest Mike Squires of Loaded and the Couch Riffs podcast fame. Joining us today on Sit and Spin, 10 Couch Riff quarantine covers. You are listening to The Men's Room.